Bonjour, bienvenue au code comptabilité. Pouvez-vous me confirmer la lettre de votre équipe, s'il vous plaît?
C.
Parfait. Est-ce que vous préférez la lecture des règlements en anglais ou en français?
Anglais, s'il vous plaît.
Okay. For this case, you'll have 20 minutes to make your presentation in front of the judges. If your presentation lasts under 18 minutes, you'll receive a 1-point penalty for every 30 seconds. If your presentation lasts under 10 minutes, your team will receive the score of 0 at the general ranking for this case. If after 20 minutes you have not completed the presentation, you will be stopped to move on to the period of question. At the end of the presentation, the judges will have 5 minutes to ask a question. I remind the jury that it is mandatory to ask a minimum of 1 question during this period. If after 5 minutes you have not finished answering your question, you will be stopped. Throughout the presentation, I will indicate the remaining time using cardboards at 10 minutes, 5 minutes, 2 minutes, and 30 seconds. I will make a countdown using my fingers for the last 10 seconds. I remind you that it is prohibited to say the name of your university, and if you do, you will receive a penalty. I also remind the public that it is prohibited to use any electronic device during your presentation, and that the public must stay quiet until the end of the period of question. Before we begin, I'm asking the room to turn off their cell phones and put them on mute so that we don't interrupt the presentation. I will now ask the judges to present themselves, and after you'll be free to start your presentation.
Thank you.
Bonjour, Gabriel Plamondon de PWC. Je suis directeur en vérification.
Claire de Raymond Chabot Grant Thornton, directrice en certification.
Hi, Henderson Ramos, manager at Price.
Sophie Cartier, directrice de l'acquisition de terres chez PWC.
Lucy Caroline, finance manager at the
Philippe Sénécal, assistant contrôleur chez Big Farms.
Julie Clich, chargée de cours au département des sciences comptables HEC.
Jazzy Inc., thank you for having us today. It's a pleasure to see. Before walking into this room, I pondered, what is success? Everybody wants to achieve it. Everybody wants a little piece of it. Well, at school we were taught success is nothing but direction. Direction and effort. Wherever you put your effort and you put in enough and you put your grit into it in the positive direction, you will get success. Jazzy Inc. has done a phenomenal job in doing so, being a first mover within the skateboard industry just in Montreal. Others say it's genetically embedded into the nature, into your DNA. Oh, he's a natural. It comes easy to him. We've heard these many before, right? Jazzy Inc. is the exception. It has both of them combined, and that's what has made you successful currently. But why are we here today if you're already currently successful? Well, current success is a weak foreshadowing of future success. We're here to make sure that you don't only have current success, but going forward you have success in the future. So without further ado, my name is Nicholas, and alongside with me, I brought my co-hosts, Madame Ismael and Mr. Charles, that's going to be guiding us through the presentation today to achieve further success in the future. So let's jump right into it. Why are we brought here today? Well, there's many different opportunities at hand for Jazzy Inc. at the moment. All right? We have the opportunity of adventuring into BMX, a different service, a sports. We have the opportunity to be able to have an open park, and lastly, opportunity for suppliers. Now, how do we analyze each opportunity and our financial position to be able to actually attack these opportunities? Well, first, we start off with analysis of the market. We really want to understand what's happening at the groundworks and around you, internally and externally in the environment. Then we analyze each of the opportunities, not only financially, but quantitatively. We look at their characteristics, what makes them shine, and what makes them fit and tailor to what you're doing right now. And then lastly, we took some other considerations, such as Jason's pay raise, and lastly, some sustainable factors. How are we going to benchmark all this? Well, we've laid out some key performance indicators here. Really, for the analysis of the company, we're going to really focus on not only the vision, but the goal of Jazzy Inc. And then we're going to further move into the opportunities. We want an ROI of 10%. We're seeing how feasible that is. And then lastly, for other considerations, is ethics, dealing with ethics within the company and sustainability going forward for the community. So let's start right away with the overview. Description. Jazzy Inc. operates within a very niche market, extreme sports, and in Montreal. So far, you've been dominating. You're actually a first mover. Our main goal is really getting the youth active again, interested into extreme sports, bringing them and their energy out and not having them stay at home watching television all day. Now the vision. What is the vision? What is our future for Jazzy Inc.? Well, we've laid it out. The vision is being recognized as the best extreme sports facility in Montreal. And we're already taking the right steps forward. Now let's just complete them. Let's follow up with them. The target market. Who are we aiming at? We're aiming at individuals from 12 to 18 years old. Right? Students, kids that are trying to be active. Push them out there. Needs of consumers. They're looking towards diversifying. They just don't want to stick to one extreme sport. They want to taste a little bit of everything. And that's where we have to customize our opportunities to their liking. And then lastly, what opportunity really hits on this? Well, we're going to see that the BMX opportunity encompasses quite an enrichment. Now, strengths. Internally, what are your strengths? You have solid networks of contact. Your founder's knowledge. Like I said, you're natural, right? The effectiveness, it has allowed you not only to venture to different territories, but also deliver quality service that none other competitors have done so far. First mover, the advantage is it recognizes you. You're busting at the seams. You don't have enough space for the amount of consumers needed. So again, effect. It allows you to become not only well established, but well known throughout your consumers. So consumer acquisition and retention is not much of an issue within your corporation. So here, real key takeaway is that we are positioned well to not only take and fully exploit opportunities, but to deliver diversification and quality, which again is what our goals are founded on. So now we're going to jump into the opportunities. The first opportunity is the BMX overview. So to start off this overview, we've laid out first the customers. So in total, you have 60 customers if you achieve 100%. Now we laid out the most probable case, which was defined to us, that you would have 80%, which would give you 48. However, you have also estimated that there'll be some cannibalization between your services, and that would actually take away 23 of skating going into BMX. If you can join them together, again, more diversification, positivity. Now, we looked at the weekly revenues, right? We separated by best and worst case scenario. So when we're looking into our best, weekly you're averaging around 27,000 and probable around 21,000. When we're looking into the actual annual, for the probable case scenario, you're looking at around $1.79 million. Now, the cost and the profit. The main cost was actually the wages and the bikes. So initially, the wages, you put it at $20, but you were actually having a lot of issues finding that talent. Even though you're very well connected, that talent was not showcasing and shining, so you had to go ahead and increase the wage to $30. And that's why we see a higher wage than what you'd normally expect with $20. The bike costs. We've actually decided to go for the Part B, the supplier B, not only because you could customize them, but they're more lengthy. You have more time with the bikes, where the other supplier would actually only be doable for 2 years, and you're gonna have to pay less maintenance, and on the long run, it actually becomes less expensive. Now, total profits, it is an extremely profitable opportunity, which is around 1.7 million. And this is taking into account the most probable scenario, not the 100%, even though you can achieve that. Now, pros and cons. This is really when we go into the vision and the goals of Jazzy Inc. So pros. Again, it increases diversification of your services, which is what your target market is looking for. Again, it increases your quality, seeing as though you can provide more to your customers. And then lastly, it's going to increase your customer base, and not only that, your name will be dispersed more throughout the Montreal, bringing you to that vision that you wanted to be that outlining company. Now, cons. It is a heavy investment, and also there's a lack of expertise. As said before, it was hard to find a trainer. Right now, it's actually taken up by Tony. He's going to be doing it in the first days, but he can't because there's a work overload, so somebody has to replace him. That's why we increase the salaries. So takeaway. BMX here really is complementary to the rest of your services. It can increase your profits and can make you that star. It can shine you up. So again, this is just a recap of why bike supplier B was the best. First, customizable, it fits your target market, higher quality, they last longer, and it's less of a burden to the company itself. Now I'll be passing it on to analyze the profitability of scooters with my good friend Charles.
Thank you, Nicholas. So amongst your options, the second one was really, should we buy our current supplier of scooters because their owner wants to retire? So he had made you an offer, but we actually think that offer was a little bit too high, and I'm going to get into that a little bit. But first, I would really like to show you the profitability of that acquisition. So here we actually, the initial investment, we valued it at around $800,000, and I'll be happy to walk you through how we got that a little bit later. And here we have a line called interest and dividends. So here we assume that either if you have the bank loan, or if you get non-voting shares as financing, they would come out to about the same, just for simplicity. However, if you decide to go this path, we can get a lot more nitty-gritty in the future when we have the details. And next, we assume the net income from this acquisition will remain the same from that company, even though it's stated clearly that they are growing moderately, continuously. So we just kept it here to really show you the net income will be positive. However, here, we'll keep it the same just to show you that you do come out with a positive NPV anyways after only 5 years, even though we would expect that you would expect to keep this company for a long time. So the initial offer price, as you know, of course, was around $1.5 million, or 4 times the net income that they have on their statement. So of course, 4 times that income, a little bit too high for us, of course. And here for our analysis, we took a few assumptions. So we found a few facts. Some of the employees actually weren't paid salaries. So of course, the owner didn't pay himself, and his wife was actually also the secretary who didn't pay herself as well. The total assets were valued at around $1 million, and they had $250,000 in long-term debt. So here, really, we want to take away that we think the offer is too high. So how we ended up calculating the offer price that we'd be willing to give was really, we took their total assets, we subtracted their total liabilities, and we multiplied this by about 1.5 to really showcase the synergies as well. But also, there are some key considerations to keep in mind that I'm going to walk you through a little bit after I explain these numbers right here. So the maximum bank loan you could have got was $1.4 million at an interest rate of 6.9%. However, it came with a few covenants. So as you can see here, the debt covenant, the debt ratio, you were okay. However, the working capital ratio, you fell a little bit short at 1.45 instead of 2. So taking into consideration, you don't actually need that much capital. We recommend that you would ask the bank for $700,000 instead. So of course, we valued it at $800,000, but you do have enough cash to make up the difference. And we really believe that if you ask the bank loan for this much of a reduction, that the working capital covenant might actually be bumped down quite a bit, so you might be able to reach that. However, we do have some other options for you. So non-voting shares, you came to us and you said you don't want shares to be distributed because you're scared that sharing the control and decision making could really dilute the brand, and you don't want that. So that's why we recommended non-voting shares at around 8 or 9%. And this we could easily come up with capital by selling about 744 shares. And also, if ever you want to look for private investors, we are thinking mostly silent partners, of course. So yes, you'd share a little bit of the company, but they wouldn't be as present as you would expect. And this is great for you because you guys are all about the extreme sports and you know what to do. You just want an investor to really give you some capital and let you do what you do best. So here we have some non-financial pros and cons, of course. So pros, this company has a very strong reputation all across Quebec. They are firmly established in the market and again are moderately growing continuously. And they have a strong network of stores already put in place because they've been in business for at least 10 years already. However, the cons, of course, they are outside your expertise. You guys sell, they manufacture on a large scale. Actually, and also Monsieur Filtro, the person selling it to us, of course, he will be leaving the company after a few months. So it's actually a good thing. He'll stick around for a bit to encourage the employees to stay on board. However, he will be leaving and you will need to replace him, which could be kind of hard. However, he has suggested that you hire his son, who's been with the company as well, but he's said to have a little bit of a temper, so we really need to look out for that and really see if we could find someone potentially better, but that's a problem if you go forth with this option. Also, it was unclear if the financial statements were audited or not, and this is really important for you, especially in the long run. If you look for more financing, you're really going to need to make sure these are audited, and of course that they comply with IFRS as well, because it was stated that Mr. Filtro, he creates these statements only for tax purposes, so they really need to be consolidated with what you have now. But the key takeaway here, there will be high synergies. You're going to have a lot of cost savings off of those scooter costs as well. We're going to bump down that price as much as possible, and we believe we can do so because even though it said that he could be a little hard-headed at times, we believe that if you explain you guys come from the same extreme sports world as him, you really want to give back and you want to put in that good work, we believe that he'll be able to bring the price down to what we suggested. Now I will pass you off to Ismael to cover the open skate park.
Thank you, Charles. So, excuse me. So one of the other opportunities was actually to create an outdoor skate park. So you have made the city of Montreal actually proposed to you to give you land for free. It's a 15 years agreement, so you will be able to use the land and to actually offer courses there. But the only thing is, in exchange, you have to give, per week, you have to give 25 hours free to the community so they can be able to use your installation. By opening a skate park, you're going to have to incur additional costs to buy some modules, but those are going to be removable, so you're going to be able to change the display of everything to make additional revenue. So our assumptions, we have taken for a net present value analysis, we have taken a 9% rate because this is a risky project. Also, we assume that every session is going to be paid weekly. So we assume that every customer will take a session per week. And we have taken into consideration also your assumptions that you will always be able to have a full house. So our total NPV, we have a total NPV of $856,000. So the project is considered to be profitable over 15 years. Next, and to the qualitative factors. So yes, from a quantitative analysis, we know that your project probably is going to be probable with our assumptions. But there's also qualitative factors to take into consideration, such as for pros, the land is actually going to be adjacent to your facility, so it's going to be near your facilities. You're going to have movable modules. The land is free. You're going to have the opportunity with the land to actually promote health. And the clients are going to be similar because it will mostly attract young people, which is your target market. But the count is with this is you're gonna have to provide additional security supervision during free time. So let's say if someone actually get injured, you might get sued in the future. So this is something to really consider. Also the weather, because the thing is it is outdoor. So they can't really skate during winter. So this will be operational only 6 months instead of during the full year, like your indoor facilities. So yes, this opportunity will allow us to maybe get additional customers, but also it will give us more responsibilities and costs. So this is a listing of our different opportunities we had. So we have the BME service, we have the purchase supplier at the outdoor skate park. So we basically summarize the fixed costs and the NPV costs to be able to compare them. Also, in additional consideration, we had the one of the additional consideration is the construction cost. So for the outdoor skate park, there was some construction costs, and Gary decided to capitalize everything. Because if follow IFRS, according to IFRS, you should capitalize all direct costs during construction. Our analysis is all costs were actually directly related to construction or were necessary to get the site ready, except the advertising costs. So we really recommend to expense the advertising costs. We took this into consideration when we did our NPV for the project. So the impact is your assets are going to decrease by 3K. Also, we have other consideration is the sustainability. Your project mainly what's currently happening in Montreal and like in other cities is a lot of people, they're not like, they stay inside, they don't go outside like before. So the digital entertainment business is very popular, but people, they don't get exercise, they don't really have like a sustainable lifestyle. So the impact is people, because they mostly stay inside, they're less likely to go outside and do activities. So we really suggest that skateboarding can, you can actually show people to get additional customers. You can show them that it's actually fun and accessible, such as you can do promotional videos to get to attract people and allow them to have a more sustainable lifestyle. And then I will leave the floor to my colleague to talk about Jason's salary.
So of course, this wasn't an actual opportunity, but Jason has voiced his opinion quite often. He is doing a lot of work that isn't in his direct job description, and it's really important that you give credit where it's due, and you really do believe this, but you wanted us to really look over what you should really do. So it wasn't explicitly clear how much you pay Jason, but we estimated at about $32,000. Just based on the store salaries, we assumed 3/4 would go to the owners and the remaining to Jason. And we thought that a 10% salary increase would be more than fair, and to also give him bonus based on the manufacturing and of course the efficiency and the pretty much productivity of the shops. And this is because of course he does a lot of work and he's a valued employee and you would hate to lose him. Yeah. So lastly, an overview. We were here to really prioritize which options to choose, where you should go, where you shouldn't. We strongly believe that you should take on all 3 options if you can, but if not, we would go for purchasing your supplier first, and then second, go for the BMX expansion, and third, for the open park. So here we analyze the company market, analyze the opportunities, and of course those other considerations. So here, you are well positioned in the market to really expand, and that's what we want you to do eventually. The opportunities, of course, go for the purchase of the supplier because this will give you the biggest gain in the long run. And then also later, if you can, follow through with the others. And of course, sustainability, try to give back as much as you can. Thank you, and we're going to open the floor for questions.
One question at the beginning when you were talking about the strengths of the company.
Yeah.
Is there any weaknesses that we should be aware of and maybe work on the future?
Yes, so I think what happened with Jason, where he was getting a lot of jobs or tasks that weren't really under his direct umbrella, I think that's a really big section you should look at because, of course, everybody's busy, everybody's working hard, but some of those tasks actually fell on you too, but Jason kind of had to carry the backpack anyways, and he was happy to do it. However, he wasn't compensated for it, and it wasn't in his job description. So if ever, we would recommend really relooking at his job description, what you guys need, and really try to expand if you can, which I think you can. So we really look to really fill those positions that you need to make everything move more efficiently and easier for everyone.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Si je comprends bien, on choisit l'option de BMX, puis les deux autres, on choisit de les faire par après.
We actually decided to choose purchasing the supplier first, and then BMX, and then the park expansion.
OK.
Yeah.
Donc, l'option des scooters, vous disiez qu'elle était rentable. Est-ce qu'on peut répondre à l'analyse qui dit que c'est rentable à 1,9 million? 4 fois, non, on disait que c'était 4 fois le bénéfice net. Est-ce qu'on est venu calculer en fait un bénéfice ajusté, voir si le 1,9 million faisait du sens? Est-ce qu'il y avait des choses dans le bénéfice qu'on aurait pu ajuster?
We might have overlooked that, but we'd be happy to revisit it later.
OK, parfait.
And we have noticed that there was a lawsuit. Have you ever thought about something about the lawsuit that is going
Yes.
on actually in our company?
Yes, the thing about the lawsuit is it wasn't settled now, so we know the total cost, but it wasn't settled. So it is a contingency, and because you follow IFRS, you cannot record in your financial statement a lawsuit now, the contingency, because under IFRS contingency are only disclosed. So right now you should disclose the contingencies, and eventually if it's settled after, you will be able to record a provision. And also because we know the cost and we know that it is actually probable. Thanks.
One more question.
Yeah.
For the bonus of Jason.
Yes.
Have you thought of a way that we can attribute this bonus based on something, or is it just a, let's say, 20K bonus at the end of the year?
So we were thinking, we wanted to do a performance based, not only on the net income of the company, just because that could lead to potential misstatements and things like that. We do trust him, but we really want to make him work harder for the company as a whole, which we believe he will do. So we're really thinking just how efficient the company is working since he's the operation manager. And let's see, are his operations working really fast? Are there any bottlenecks? To really reduce that and really set in some more KPIs. However, for those, we really need to get to know you guys a little more. So for that, we want you to take us back, walk us to the office, and really show us what Jason does and really what we need to do to capitalize on that and really give him what he's earned.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
So, in your proposition, you're going ahead with the three projects. What are the major risks you see ahead in going with the three projects?
Right, so of course initially cash flow, 100%. That's why we put them in an order to really tackle one at a time. So not all at once, because we would love if we can do that for you, but I don't think we can right now. And we went for option number 2 first, just because he might wish to sell to somebody else. So that one was really the one up for grabs right now. Whereas the BMX expansion, if you expand into BMXs anytime, your suppliers will be there. And we know how much it's going to cost you anyways. So that one we figured to put a pin in as well. And one for the government always wants to give back. And we believe we always want to give back too. We want to give back the most we can. So that's why we believe after the BMX expansion, we'd be able to give back to the public even more. So that's why we put them in that order.
We'll have time for one last question.
Au niveau de la gestion, vous voulez acheter l'entreprise en fait, mais ils ont un problème en fait de gestion parce qu'il manque de personnel. Vous pensez faire quoi à ce niveau-là?
Assurément. Lorsqu'on voit Jazzy Inc., non seulement ils ont le talent, mais ils ont aussi cette backbone d'avoir les contrôles, la sustainabilité dans l'entreprise elle-même. Donc on pense vraiment que Jazzy Inc. elle-même a le potentiel de prendre cette lac d'employees from the company that they're going to acquire.
Easy. Come on.
before you get us in trouble.
Yeah. Thanks a lot.
Thank you.